What's up, everybody? Hutch here, and we're on Module 3-2, which is about subtracting integers. I want to remind you about this amazing song, okay? So remember how that goes. Here's the lyrics. Same signs add and keep, different signs subtract. Use the sign of the bigger number, then you'll be exact. So we're going to be subtracting integers. We don't really subtract integers. We're going to add the opposite instead using a little trick we call KFC. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. So subtracting integers, obviously, we want you to understand subtracting integers on a number line. So pick a color. Do you remember where we start on a number line? If you said 0, you're right. Here's my little asterisk. Okay, so we're going to go straight up from 0 first. And we're going to represent the positive 4, which is our first number. So I'm going to go over 4, let it make a straight line, and show the arrow that shows that first motion. And I'm going to pick a different color and circle my next number. Now, you have to be really careful here. My next term is a negative 9, okay? So you can see this whole thing here, okay? So we have a 4 and then a minus 9. So I'm going to put my point above here, and we're going to go negative 9 to the left. So just be careful that you count correctly. We're going to go all the way to here, draw our arrow, and you can see we end at negative 5. So 4 and a negative 9 equals negative 5. All right, so we're going to do the additive inverse, which means add the opposite instead. When we're talking about opposite, we're talking about the opposite operation. So we also call this KFC. This is just the trick, the easier thing to remember. So KFC is keep the first sign, okay? And then flip and then change. Okay, so keep, flip, change. So it means we don't do anything to the first term. We flip the operation in the middle, and then we change the last number to negative. And so here's what this looks like if we're doing KFC, keep, flip, change. And like I said, it's just a trick. It means we're adding the opposite instead of subtracting the negative or whatever it is. So we're not going to subtract, we're going to do KFC every time, and then it makes an addition problem, and you know how to solve those. So KFC means keep the 5 how it is, flip the negative to positive, and change this negative to positive. Okay, so subtracting a negative is the same thing as adding a positive. And then we look and we have same signs, so we go same signs, add and keep. So we have a 7 plus 5, so we have 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and we're going to write that down below, and there we go. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and try this out. Okay, so I'm going to keep, flip, and change. That's the KFC. So flip and change. Okay, and now we have an 11 plus 15. So 15 plus 10 is 25, plus the extra is 26. Same signs, add and keep. And there we go with our check. All right, let's try example 2, okay? We have a negative 24 minus a negative 17, okay? If we use KFC, because we're not going to do negatives, we're not going to do subtracting of integers, we're going to change it. So keep the first term, flip the minus to addition, and change the negative to positive. So there's our KFC. And then we can go ahead and look, but now we have opposite. So we have a negative 24 plus a positive 17. So we sing our song as soon as we have addition. Same signs add and keep, different signs subtract. Keep the sign of the bigger number, then you'll be exact. Well, the bigger is the 24, which is negative, so I'm going to put that first. Different signs subtract, 24 minus 17. And we have 7, and it is negative. Okay, and there we go. Okay, let's head over here. We have a negative 39 minus a negative 24. So let's go ahead and do our KFC. So keep, flip, change. So keep the negative 39, flip, change. Okay. All right, so now let's look at what we have. We have a negative and a positive. Different signs, subtract. Keep the sign of the bigger number, then you'll be exact. Well, the bigger number is 39 compared to 24. We're ignoring the signs. And 39 is bigger, that's negative. So that means our answer is going to still be on that negative side of the number line. So let's go ahead and do our different signs, subtract. 39 minus 24. And we have 15. So we land at negative 15. All right, let's move down here to example 3. This is called substituting for variables. And so there are some specific ways that we need to do this. First of all, be very careful. You can accidentally make a mistake. So x equals this negative 23. So you can see that we have evaluate x minus y. So I have negative 23 minus, and then you put whatever y is. If y is negative 19, you write minus negative 19. In this case, it's just 19. Okay, but be very careful with that so that you really substitute the y for whatever it says. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and look. We don't do subtraction. Okay. Instead, we go to where? KFC. So keep, flip, and change. So right now it is currently a positive, and we're going to change it to a negative. Okay, so instead of subtracting, we're going to add the opposite. Okay, and so now we have same signs, add and keep. So we're keeping the negative. So let's add these together. 23 plus 19 is 40. Oops, there we go, 42. And there we go. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and evaluate. Here's your actual equation is P minus Q. Whatever P is, you put that in. Whatever Q is, you put that in. Okay. And so P is negative 21 minus whatever Q is. In this case, it's just 37. Okay. So let's go ahead and do KFC, keep, flip, change. Okay. So you have to look at those all separately. All right, now we sing our songs because we have addition of integers. Same signs, add and keep. We're keeping the negative. Add them up, 37, 47, 57, 58, but it's good to double check anyway. There we go, and we're all set. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and move to the next part of the lesson, which is finding the distance. And when we want to find the distance between someone's age or their height or location, finding difference or finding the difference means subtraction. Okay, so finding the distance between, let's go ahead and write subtract here. Okay, and there's a couple ways to do this. One is plot them on a number line and then just count the units between. So if we have a negative 4 and a negative 5, okay, we already have these plotted here, and I could literally just count how far apart are they. Okay, so obviously 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one's 6, 7, 8, 9, and so we end up 9 apart. Okay, now obviously you're probably not going to want to draw a number line every time, so we have to understand sort of what the formula is for finding the difference of integers. And so what you do to find the distance between two integers, whether positive, negative, or a blend of the two, is we find the difference of the integers. Okay, so difference, remember, means subtract. But we take the absolute value of those. Okay, so this, let's make an arrow. This is called absolute value. And what that means is that means you remove negative symbol at the end. Okay, and so really what absolute value means is it says that you just want to know the distance from 0. Okay, and the distance from 0 is always positive. You're 4 away from 0 no matter what side you're on. Okay, but really what we're doing is removing any negative numbers because we just want to, absolute value means just tell me how far away from 0 you are. Okay, so let's go ahead and write that also, and we'll write how far you are from 0. Okay, we'll like put that in parentheses. So that's overall what that is saying. So here's how it would work if we have a -4 and a -5. Okay, all we do is we take our -4 and we find the difference, which means subtract. So minus the 5. Okay, do we subtract? No, we go to where? KFC. So keep, flip, change, and now we have a -4 plus a -5. Remember, we're going to find the absolute value of those. Okay, so same signs, add and keep. So right now, here's where we're at. If I bring this down, we're at a -9. But what's the absolute value of -9? It's just 9. Okay, so the distance between the two integers is 9. You can see we get the same answer. Okay, but that's mathematically how you would do it. So let's go ahead. We're going to use that mathematical method here. Find the difference between -9 and 8, and you might be able to visualize that on a number line. You can visualize that you're -9 away from 0 and you're 8 away from 0 on the other side. So you can maybe your head visualizes, okay, well, I'm 9 away on this one and I'm 8 away on this one, so add them up, and that would be another way to think about it. But this way is going to work every time as well, is find the difference. And difference means what? Subtract. So we're just going to write -9, but it's going to be absolute value, so make sure those are pretty big there, minus the 8, okay? And we're going to do KFC, okay, because we don't do subtraction, we go to KFC instead. So keep, flip, change, okay? And then same signs, add and keep. So we have 17 negative. Absolute value of that tells us that we are 17 apart, okay? All right, let's go ahead and you can try this one. So go ahead and pause if you want, or you can do it with me. How far apart are you if you're at -5 and 9? So we set up absolute value and find the difference, so subtract. Okay, we don't do subtraction, we KFC, add the opposite. And so same signs, add and keep. So we're doing 9 plus 5, okay? And so 9 plus 5 is 14. Okay, same signs, add and keep, but we're doing absolute value, and you do have to show that step to show that you understand, then we're left at 14, okay? All right, let's go down to example 5. They're giving you the highest point in California is Mount Whitney with an elevation of 14,000, so somewhat feet. The lowest point is Death Valley with an elevation of -282 feet. And you can see that they show that sea level that we were talking about as 0. All right, so find the difference between the height of Mount Whitney and the depth, meaning the lowest part of Death Valley. So finding the difference, or the distance between, means subtract. So we know to do that with integers, we take the absolute value of the one number, which is a positive, okay, minus Death Valley, which is -282. Okay, absolute value. Now, do we subtract? Nope. We go where? KFC. So keep, flip, change. Okay, so all those pieces there. Okay, all right. So now we have, it looks like 2 positives. So we're just same signs, add and keep. So we have 282 plus 14,494. And you're left with a total distance of 14,776, but it's a word problem, so what is that? Feet. Okay. Distance between the depths of Death Valley to the peak of Mount Whitney. Okay. All right, so there we go. Let's head to the check, and you can try this. Okay, remember our hints are to make notes in the word problem. 55 feet above, what is that? That's a positive 55 feet. The bottom is 308 feet below sea level. So what integer is that? Good, -385 feet. Okay. How do we find the distance between? That's a subtraction problem. Okay. So we have 55 minus the other one. What is the other one? It's a -385. Do we subtract? Nope. We go to where? KFC. So keep the first sign, flip, and change. Okay, now we have same signs, add and keep. So we're just going to add these up. And we end up with 440 feet. Okay, between the top and the bottom. And there you go. All right, let's do your apply, and that's it for today's notes. Okay, your apply says this table shows the minimum and maximum temperatures of various celestial objects in the solar system. Scientists want to send a probe to study the celestial objects with the greatest variation in temperature. So that's what we're looking for, is the greatest difference or variation. So where should we send the probe? Okay, so we're wanting to find the biggest variation. Well, I can look. I mean, Venus is 864 to 864. Not much variation since it's 0. Okay, so I don't even have to really do much with that one. But let's go ahead and do the subtraction of the other ones to find the difference. So we'll use this table as our work. So finding the difference, we're just subtracting each of these. Okay, but we don't subtract with integers. Remember, we add the opposite, or KFC. Okay, so keep that, flip that, change that. So here we go. Keep, flip, and this is positive, so we're making it negative. Flip, change, and here we go. Okay, so it looks like with all these same signs, add and keep. Okay, so we're just adding up these numbers, keeping the negative. Okay, so if I don't want to make a mistake, I could also, I'm just going to put equals here, and we can put our negative symbol already ready to go. Okay, so let's go ahead and test these out. Same signs, add and keep, 387 plus 253. So we're at negative 640. Okay, but remember, it is the absolute value of these, okay, when we're solving all of these. And so really, it ends up being a difference of 640. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the next one. 225 plus 70. This difference is 295. It's technically negative, but when we're finding the range of integers, we're taking the absolute value. Okay, and then one more, 279 plus 801. It's negative, but we're doing the absolute value, so we have 1,080. Okay, so which has the greatest variation? Which celestial object has the greatest variation? Well, obviously, Mercury has the greatest variation, so that's what we would write. Okay, so Mercury has the greatest variation, period. And there we go. All right, so that's it for your notes. Let's head to your homework and test some of your skills out here. Okay, so we're practicing our KFC because we are not going to do subtraction. We're going to go to KFC instead because that makes us feel better. All right, so here we go. I'll do half of these with you. Half of them are on your own. Ready? So keep, flip, change. You don't have to write that for everyone, but if that helps you, go for it. So flip, change. Same signs, add and keep, and we have 11. Okay, next one. Keep, flip, change. Boom, boom. Different signs, subtract. 28 minus 14 is 14. Keep the sign of the bigger number, which is positive. Okay, and we're done. All right, let's go to the next one. We have negative 18 minus a negative 12. Okay, I don't do division. Okay, where do I go to make me feel better? KFC, keep, flip, change. Now I have different signs, a negative 18 and a positive 12. Different signs, subtract. Keep the sign of the bigger number, which is 18, so it's going to stay negative. 18 minus 12 is obviously 6, and there we go. Negative 6 is our answer for that one. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and we'll do a couple more together. Actually, I'll just do one more with you here. So negative 20 minus 10, KFC, keep, flip, change. Same signs, add and keep. So we have a negative 30. We're keeping the sign. All right, the rest you can handle on your own. Okay. All right, let's go to 10, 12, and 14. 10 is evaluating, meaning you're substituting for a variable. So we're plugging in, I'm glad you're getting to see this. We didn't have this in our notes. We're plugging in the letters that they say into that expression. So A is 10. We're writing the minus sign, and now you're putting whatever B says. Okay. Some people just put 7 because they already see the subtraction, but this is not correct. We need to put what B says, and B says negative 7. So it's 10 minus negative 7. Do your organizational parentheses. Okay. And now, do we do subtraction? Nope. Where do we go to make ourselves feel better? KFC. Keep, flip, change. 10 plus 7, 17. Voila. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and look at number 12. Find the distance between. How do we find difference or distance between? We're going to subtract, but take the absolute value. Okay. So here's what we're setting up. What's the absolute value of negative 6 minus 7? Okay. Well, KFC. So negative 6 plus a negative 7. Still absolute value. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. It stays negative, but the absolute value of that is 13. So the actual distance between negative 6 and 7 is 13. Okay. All right, here we go. Number 14. The highest and lowest recorded temperatures for the state of Texas are 120 degrees Fahrenheit and negative 23. Find the range. Range means find the difference between the two. We know that that means subtract. But when we're finding the difference in integers, we know we take the absolute value. Okay, let's go ahead and subtract 120 minus the other one, which is negative 23. Absolute value. Okay, do we do subtraction? Nope. Where do you go to make yourself feel better? KFC. KFC. Keep, flip, change. So now we're just adding, same signs, add and keep. So 20, 30, 43, so 143. The absolute value of 143 is just 143. How far away am I from 0? All right, so there we go. That is the range of those two temperatures. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the homework. I'll do 16. Your job is 17. So this table shows the maximum minimum account balances for 3 college students for 1 month. Giovanni claimed that he had the least variation from max to min in his account that month. Is he correct? And write a mathematical argument to justify. So I have 2 things. I always like to tag the 2 things. I don't really know what they mean by write a mathematical argument quite yet. Let's get into the problem and then we can help interpret that. Okay, so either way, I need to find the difference, which we know is subtract. Okay, so, and I'm taking the absolute value of these. Okay, so subtract, subtract. Do we do subtraction? Nope, that makes us sad. Where do you go to make yourself feel better? KFC. So keep, flip, change, flip, change, flip, change. It's positive, so I'm going to make it negative. Flip, change, and there we go. Okay, you have to make sure you do it with all of them. All right, next step, let's go ahead and look at our song here. Now that we're adding integers, same signs, add and keep. So 145, 55, 65. So we have equals 170. It's the absolute value, which is still 170. Okay, equals, let's do this one. Oh, different signs, subtract. So we have 168 minus 15. Keep the sign of the bigger digit. We're at 153. The bigger is positive, which still absolute value. How far away are you from 0? Still 153. All right, and then the last one, we have 152 plus a positive 10. Same signs, add and keep. So it's 162 absolute value, still 162. All right, so there is our balance difference. Okay, this is all money difference. Okay, $162 range, that kind of thing. All right, so Giovanni says he has the least variation. So let's look. Giovanni, his variation is 153. Everyone else's is 162 and 170. So is he correct? Yeah, he has the least. So yes, I'm actually surprised they have him be correct. He is correct. It says, write a mathematical argument to justify your solution. I mean, what? We have to prove that he's right? I mean, I guess a mathematical argument could be that $153 is less than $162, and $153 is less than $170. Not really sure what else they want. I mean, but that's one way to argue that he's correct. So there we go. Let's go with that. All right, so you have number 17 to take a look at. It says which state in the list has the greatest variation and which one has the least. So you're going to do the same process, but just identify the greatest and the least. All right, so go ahead and you can practice your subtracting. Not really subtracting, right? We're not really doing that. Your adding of integers. All right, let me know if you need any help.